So one of my favorite things to do literally on this channel is to chat with people that are A, smarter than me, and B, that are just absolute technical wizards that know a lot more about the mechanics of Amazon than I do. And really, really blessed to have one of the nice guys in the space and one of those super smart wizards that really understands Amazon unlike anybody I've ever met. I've got Nir Rave here with me, who's become a good friend. Basically, he's the guy that you go to if you have catalog issues, if you've got product issues, if you've got strategic issues with your account, the headaches of Amazon, that kind of messy plumbing of Amazon that we've all had to deal with at some point. Nir's a guy you call when you can't fix it yourself and you can't sort it out. It's near and dear to me because I actually had a hero ASIN on one of my brands go down literally the week before Black Friday this year, and it was down for 6 weeks, something like that. Me thinking I knew better, kind of chipped away at it myself, tried to solve it for 3 weeks, beating my head against the wall, trying to navigate the inner workings of Amazon and how to do appeals and all that stuff, and it was coming up short. So I finally messaged some folks. I'm like, do you guys know anybody good? Consistently, Nir's the name that came up, and he helped get us out of that bind and saved us literally hundreds of thousands of dollars with that product. Shortly after that, I think the same thing happened in Canada. Had it happen with another product, had a bunch of stuff. Like, I'd been really lucky for a couple of years not to have many issues, but ran into a bunch, and Nir saved the bacon for me. So I brought Nir on just because a lot of these people you don't hear about in the Amazon space, they just don't do podcasts. They don't kind of chat publicly a lot of stuff. And Nir was kind enough to join me here. We're going to get into Nir's story. We're going to get into the scary stuff of Amazon, listings going down, accounts going down, how to do appeals, and some really interesting and important news that literally every Amazon seller needs to know to protect themselves, protect their businesses, and to navigate Amazon in 2024 with just some news that you need to know about. So Nir, without further ado, man, thanks a lot for jumping on Seller Sessions. It's an honor to have you. It's an honor to connect in this weird world that's Amazon. And again, humbly thank you for all the stuff that you've done, and can't wait to share your story.
Hi, Adam. Good to meet you once again. Yeah, we became friends. It's true. It was one hell of a ride, but a very good one. But I think you said so many kind words, so we need to stop here because I'm going to...
End of podcast. We're done.
Yeah.
I actually don't even know this. So obviously you've got an incredible amount of technical knowledge about flat files, catalog work, just the inner kind of navigating the inner workings of Amazon, how to communicate with Amazon, all that stuff. How did Amazon come about for you? Just what's your story on how you got into this?
I'll do it as short as I can. I started many years ago, let's say, on the advertising world as strategic planner, became the head of the department. And then I became business development manager, but then Amazon came, and I will connect everything. Amazon came to our world, and our is because I'm working also, my company is with my wife, which is very nice, I think, brilliant. Others fear from that. It is a completely different topic, but for me it was the wisest decision. We have been doing Amazon something like 15 years. We started as a seller, came very good. We hit the first ranks or the top selling product, and then people came and said, can you give us services? Can you do that? And I said, no. And then my partner from the advertising world was my partner, said, you're going to do that. I said, no, you're my friend. And said, no, you're going to do that unless you want us not to be friends. So we're still working together 15 years after. Offering services, now everybody calls it A to Z, was something we enjoyed. We're still enjoying. And when you work with, let's call it big companies, you have big problems. Sometimes some employee that care or do not care hit something which is allowed, or do something which is allowed or not allowed. This is without even Amazon getting involved. And then they are being blocked. So something like 8 years ago, we were looking for a way how to fix it. And then we decided that it's even not possible to find somebody who is offering, because nobody offered it a few years ago. And then I started to do it, and I enjoyed it because for me it was the same as advertising, doing strategy. Basically, you need to take everything into one, let's say, paper, understand the problem, understand the process, understand, and we will touch that later on, and how to fix it. And I still, even though I think this is one of the hardest things to do on Amazon, I still enjoy it because, we want to know that we are doing the best we can on Amazon.
Awesome, dude. So a lot of years kind of looking under the hood of all things Amazon. I think this is kind of an nihilistic kind of line, but I think it's important for all Amazon sellers to know if they don't know already, and most do. There's a saying I heard once that on a long enough timeline, everyone's life expectancy is 0. In the Amazon world, I think on a long enough timeline, you're going to have a listing go down. You might, if you're unlucky, have an account go down, and you might have to deal with the tangled web that can be Amazon Seller Central, right? I was super lucky in the sense that with the first brand I sold, I ran into a lot of headaches. And so I kind of sharpened that stress sword pretty well during that experience. But I was really lucky. I'd say over the last, 18 to 24 months, had very little hiccups. But when it happens, it happens. And when the hammer drops, it's a very, very scary thing because your business is on the line, your hero products are on the line, your accounts are on the line. Just talk me through, and I do think things have gotten better to a certain degree on the Amazon side, but it still can be an endless chain at some times. What are some of the things that you've seen, maybe particularly over the last year, on what either sellers have done to put themselves in that position with their products or accounts, and or just general things that you see in terms of why listings and accounts go down? What's the theme of the day the last year?
Even before going into that, you're so right about what you just said. Yeah, it's awful. It's not nice. And now I told you before we started to record that I will try something new because it's a very unique day for me, and I will reveal more that I have my groups and things, but I'm not revealing or I'm not talking about appeals because nobody wants to speak about appeals, about the problems. No, they are not exist. Let's drop that issue. It will not come. We don't want to talk about these kind of things, but it's actually part of the, let's call it, cost of doing things. If you're selling your products on the biggest supermarket in the world and you put your products on the shelf, and let's say you are part of the supermarket, okay? And the air condition is not working now. You will pay some cost to the supermarket, right? Basically, it's the same. It's part of doing things. There are some problems. You need to fix them. Try to find somebody who is telling you the truth, is being honest with you. Try to do it by yourself, whatever. Just, understand that this is part of the Amazon way. And Amazon are ups and downs constantly. Let's call it Amazon dance. So, and now going back to your question, we had a crazy day because Amazon are now becoming better and better. Last Prosper, when I was on the stage of speaking about news and innovation, I shared our thing about the fact that Amazon now can search images. And what does it mean? They know what is in the image. They understand the image itself. Let me do an example. If we go to the brand thing or the values later on, then I will discuss it a bit further. But just for people to understand why it's so important for appeals, if you have, let's say, a product which is cat food, okay? And you want to have the second photo, something really nice, lifestyle, a photo of a cat and a dog hanging out together. Amazon now understand that you're selling a product for cats and dogs. It doesn't matter that you wrote in the text cats. It doesn't matter whatever you will do. Amazon understand that. Quick stop. Just for everyone should listen to Danny McMillan, and if I'm not mistaken, you've been there as well, speaking about that exactly. He's much better than me, understanding the algorithm, and if you have not tried his bot and understanding what is needed, he can show you, and he has amazing presentation about Amazon understanding the exact ingredients on the bottle. So this is new, and Amazon now understand photos. So they really understand, and I wanted people to know that. Because people are being blocked for Amazon. Oh, sorry for all the...
No, it's okay. It's all good. I don't know what that is.
Amazon understand everything that they haven't. And just as a preparation for this conversation about appeals, I was thinking, okay, what was in the last few, let's say, weeks, just cover as much as I can. And you asked about year, which is even harder. So the one thing, and I will try to explain what to do if you have a problem, but even before that, don't play with Amazon if I need to give an advice, because they will know. Don't play with images that you're not supposed to do. Don't put some kind of, let's say, text that are misleading, even if you think that you've created some kind of icon that nobody will notice. The Amazon algorithm can search that, and they do understand. Even if people will not understand, algorithm can understand that. I'm not saying, when I'm saying don't do that, maybe let's take a second. You need to understand that if you're doing it, you're playing. Now we are playing a bit of grayish, and this is kind of a decision. We all play a bit grayish, and it's okay. If you ask me during live event, I will say never do that, because this is the official answer. If you do that, it's your responsibility and you need to understand what you're doing. I'm playing according to the TOS, but this is me. Another thing that people are being blocked or not indexed is bullet points. We all understand about the titles, the importance of that. In titles, there's the Amazon way of putting titles, which basically I don't know anyone who is really doing it. Now there's the new AI, which is awful. Don't approve it ever. Don't approve it. It's very hard to change it. There's some ways, we are going to have maybe just for people who are doing flat file within the few days. It was supposed to be last week. We'll have the new flat files from Amazon. Yay! They added another dimension. It's going to be even harder, but it's good. I work with flat files constantly, and once you know how to work with it, it's easy. But you need to understand what you're doing. The title is important, but we all know what to do it. But the bullet points, people tend to play with Amazon and see if it works or not. So let's say we have the emojis and we have the long text, which basically, if I can give you some kind of a good advice, even if you think that you can, don't be above 250 characters. If you can, be under 200 characters. And why? Why? Because Amazon will never tell you that you're not being indexed. Again, there are people that can discuss it with you, but when people come to us and say, hey, what is going on? Why we are not being searched? Why we are not being shown? This is it. Why they're being blocked is when they write things that they should not write. Like the easiest way is when we used to have hijackers, which we'll have soon another wave, they would put some keywords like drugs or something like that, and then just remove you within seconds. Let's say that you have a product that you think that it is treating people like cream or something, unless you are allowed to do it. And when I'm saying allowed, you have all the documents to support that, and you are, let's say, not on cosmetics, you are on personal care. Don't say that you are treating. You can say it in so many words. Don't say things like that because Amazon will remove you. And we are getting so many appeals just because people said something, and now you just need to explain to them why it was there, why you need to understand that we didn't know, things like that. So avoid things like that. What else? Now there is a new wave of customer complaints. If I'm not mistaken, you've met that as well. Quick stop again, just to make things a bit more fun. People tend to say, oh, Amazon, they are the worst. I'm not there. I'm not playing that game. We are guests in the biggest marketplace in the world. We need to play by their rules. They have their needs. And if I will explain a bit about what, then the first thing you need to understand is you're not going to blame them. You need to understand what they want from you because they have their needs. It's not helping to say, oh, Amazon. No, you're part of this game. Enjoy the game and try to understand where you are. So Amazon care about the buyers, and the buyers, some of them use their abilities to block you. Some of the buyers are not your friends. Some of the buyers are basically other sellers. And we know how people use their power. I'm trying to be as polite as I can.
Yeah.
So in few things, let's say I have some products now I cannot review because he's not with us now, and he's huge. He's really huge and he's amazing, and the product, and I sold everything in there, and he has, let's call it a mechanism, let's say a stop mechanism. Okay, you just need to push it and it stops. He was the first one to offer that. So his competitor, instead of basically creating a new product, decided that it will be better to remove him. So now we need to explain to Amazon what is the mechanism, what does it do, how we are sharing this information with Amazon, etc., etc., etc. But it is a pill, actually building some kind of a strategy with Amazon. And you asked me about the year, a bit less about hijackers and more about new way of hackers. Hackers is not the right word, but new ways of problems. Okay?
Yeah, bad actors. So I think what you said is true, right? I think one thing that I've noticed with my own brands as well as other people's, typically if something happens, it's because you flew too close to the sun and you actually truly are outside of Amazon's terms of service. And so I think it's important to take ownership of that and realize, hey, I didn't have the testing I needed, the regulation I needed. I was using something incorrect in my listing image. I had verbiage and or promotional language in my listing that took it down. So I think point number one is that I would say 85+% of cases are you flew too close to the sun. Don't fly close to the sun is your point number one. The second is there's always going to be bad actors. Obviously the strategies change. Some of them get shut down, and Amazon doesn't want that to happen. I don't think that they want bad actors. They close loopholes, new ones get opened all the time. That's also part of the risk of doing business on Amazon. But if your listing goes down, if your account goes down, whether it's your fault or some other nefarious means, I think the challenge and frustration for sellers is that Amazon has the right intentions. Maybe I was even in the wrong, but navigating the appeals process and the actual strategy to get those things back up is where it really is a challenge for most sellers, because it luckily doesn't happen a lot for sellers. So like in my case, always try to go at it alone, try to solve the problem myself. Very rare that I'm successful when that stuff comes up, and that's certainly what happened in my case and why I kind of called in the big guns, the big gun being Near. So first of all, this is stuff that, again, you don't talk about publicly, and I really appreciate the value and the vulnerability and the honesty that you're bringing to the table. It matters a lot. If somebody faces these issues and they do want to go about it themselves, just walk us through some best practices. I'll also just say that 90% of the time, it's better to spend a little bit extra money. Like in my case, I was losing thousands of dollars a day. If I would have called Near day after the first time I tried to do it on myself, to call it day 3 or 4, probably would have saved me $50,000-$60,000. So sometimes it's worth it to bring in the pros and not do yourself. But if you are going to go about doing yourself, what are some general best practices? I realize every situation is unique, but what are some general strategies you've seen work for appeals?
I'll even give you more than you requested. So first, yes, you're right. If your first action will be approach somebody that will help you, they've seen thousands of cases. Most probably they will understand it a bit faster and know how to act. But most of the sellers, and I can understand them, I'm really happy when somebody's call me before, doing something. But most of the sellers will try to do something. My first talk with people that I'm hired to help me with my appeal department. So I will share some of the things, not everything, but I will share some of the things, what to do and what to do, just to explain. And you said so many kind words about us being able to solve things, and thank you so much. I highly appreciate it. It's like doing like hard work, and then success, and then everybody's happy, but nobody sees the hard work. It's such a good thing. And I've even heard one of my competitors saying, hey, Near has some internal connections with Amazon. This is why his ranks are so high or whatever. I'm telling you, it's, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it's BS.
Yeah.
I don't have anything with Amazon. We just know how to create some strategy, and I will try to share some of the things in here. We are grown up. So if somebody acting as if he's a magician or believe in magic, there are no magics or magicians. Yeah. It's just strategy, or somebody who learned to do things really fast. So don't believe those who are saying they can do magic. We are not doing magic. We are doing the hardest work from everyone else. But let me share some secrets. So the first thing will be understand the problem. If you allow me, I will not share the case, but I want to share the process that we gone through together. So the first thing we're doing, and usually I'm trying to do it even myself if I can, speak with the seller. Understand what he received from Amazon, what they said, and what are the things that he thinks that are not important, but you will be able to, let's say, understand from him. And the reason behind that, when I'm doing appeals and you heard me saying, hey Adam, I need a day for strategy, usually I'm preparing my appeal, but my second appeal and my third appeal, being ready. I'm ready. And why I'm telling you and why people should understand that, because when you're telling Amazon something, you are telling them, let's call it a story. When you are telling them a story, you usually narrow it to something that you think that will help you fix the problem. But if you're narrowing it too much, then you're stuck there. And then when we come as a company, now we need to explain to them, no, it was different story. You need to understand, completely different story. And so always think ahead, always think about the second phase, the third phase, if you can. Try to be smart. Don't put yourself in a position that, you will not know how to overcome it if you will need. Because usually, even for us, I'm very happy when it's the first time. And you've seen it happening in a few cases that it was the first time. But sometimes we have the second phase, which is okay.
I think you're right. I think like the first step is everyone's freaking out. And luckily, years of selling on Amazon hardened me. In my recent case, I actually didn't stress me out too much. It was unfortunate. Didn't want it to happen, but it is what it is. I think you've got to look at what's the universe that you can control and what's the one that you can't. And I know it's hard, but you can't get overly stressed out and tight. And that people just want to throw it all out there. And that's when you make mistakes. When you're trying to solve problems from a period of anxiety, tightness, etc., you oftentimes don't make the best decisions. So I think number one, you got to compose yourself. Number two, I'd recommend you bring in the big guns. Number three, you make a good point. Maybe it's going to take us an extra 3 days, but let's start a little bit wider. Let's look at this like a chess match, because if I go all guns a-blazing the first time, I might pigeonhole myself. That puts me down for 3 weeks. So look at the long game with this. I think your strategy is super important, is that assume you're not going to necessarily pass the first couple appeals, but if you're doing it strategically and in a layered process, that sets yourself up so that you have more strategic options as you find out more information and as you get responses from Amazon.
And you know what? I'll offer something that I'm offering you and, of course, your group, something that I'm offering to my groups. If you have a problem, send me a WhatsApp even, send me an email, explain to me. I will not charge you, of course. I will try to respond as fast as I can, just to give you like the roadmap, just to explain to you where you are. Don't worry about sharing, if you're coming to doctor. I'm not going to use it ever. And nobody will hold anything accountable. You will not need to pay. Don't worry. I prefer that people will work with us if they need, not because they don't know how to fix the problem. So people feel free. I'm very as less ego as possible. Just send me an email, say, hey, I heard you offering, let me take advantage of that or something like that. Don't worry about it. So that was my first thing, is like, think about the second appeal and the third one, but always prepare a strategy. Okay. The second thing, and this is what people our sellers are doing, and this is awful. Don't send Amazon the same appeal again and again and again. Basically, what will happen is Amazon will say, okay, this is our final decision, and cannot appeal that. There is some kind of, I know others are telling that I think it's not right, that you can appeal 3 times. It's not right. You can appeal many times. But if you will send them the same not relevant or not accurate information 3 times, yes, they will block you. And yes, we can fix it. We've done with even people who are received the kiss of death from Amazon. But don't be there. It's just, it's very expensive, and don't go there. If they said no, understand what they are doing. And if we're going there, what to do as a seller. So the first thing is, as I mentioned before, is read, understand, and you can call them. You can actually call them. Don't share information, just ask. And when we started, you called them. And yes, you said to me, hey, Nir, I spoke with her, and this is what she said. I said, I don't think it's right, but let's see what we can take from that. If you remember, collect all the information that you can, and when you have all the dots, there, start to make some strategy out of it. So this is what to do. What not to do, I said, don't appeal and again. And don't think to yourself, and I mentioned it before again, Amazon are mistaken. Maybe they made a mistake. It will not help you to get angry, to get aggressive with them, or even, and we all seen it, or at least I've seen it, write like a book to Amazon, 10 pages of explanation. I've seen it with service provider. I've seen it with sellers. No, be accurate. When you understand the problem and you understand what needs to be done, it can be very short. You don't have to create, all kind of books. And one more thing, even before that I forgot, and you mentioned that, by the way, don't act when you're angry. Don't think that you can fix it like that. When you have appeal and you can find it, under the performance or under the health or whatever, take a second, relax. Don't act from a place of, oh, Amazon, or I will fix it immediately. Don't worry. No, take a day just to, work or fix it from a place of understanding, of calmness in a way.
Yep.
When you face a problem, be pragmatic. Don't be angry. It will not help. And again, this is something this is from my guide to my employees. I'm, taking some of the things from him. And one of the most important thing, never. And before that, I said you can go a bit grayish, but this is something I'm telling you, don't do ever. Don't lie to Amazon, especially with documents. Don't send them invoices which are not exist, or try to understand. You know what? Instead of explaining, look, they are much smarter than us. They are much smarter than me. They have the best tools to know what is fake. I know people tell some kind of tricks how to override that. Don't do that. Don't be there. You most probably can find a solution in a different angle, different approach. If you have this kind of problem, understand the problem and find a different solution instead of lying to Amazon, and then they will basically say, and yesterday I received a call from someone, and I can tell because it's not really a secret, because she's really a nice lady, bought something that she's doing some wholesale, and somebody offered her a different product instead of the product that she bought because, some units were missing, and then Amazon asked for the invoice, and now she doesn't have any. So everything is legit. Everything they bought from a reseller, everything is legit, beside the fact that they don't have the invoice. And now, explain to Amazon that you don't have a sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to make some kind of decision how to fix it. This is it. Let's talk about new things, if you allow me.
Yeah, so Nir, I think there's some really, really important, somewhat scary, but it's better to know about it than to be blindsided. And there's a lot of new things happening in February. So I guess to close this out in the last 5 minutes, almost no sellers that I know are aware of this. This is super, super hot off the press stuff. Share the 2 new tidbits of news that everybody needs to know about to protect their account and just to be knowledgeable about some changes that are happening in Amazon.
Fantastic. I will add even one more.
Okay, 3 then. Yeah,
Over deliver. So the first thing is CPC is changing now. Those who are selling, baby products know that, but it used to be from the age of 0 to 5, and then now it was 0 to 12, and now Amazon made 2 changes, and this is something from my group. Michael showed me that, and it's his knowledge. But from now, let's call it, you need to have CPC for up to the age of 15, which is a lot. And also Amazon removed some of the labs. I can send you a link if you want a bit later.
Cool. Yeah, we'll put it in the description for sure.
Approved labs that you can do, because they removed some of the labs that were very popular. Again, check yourself. Don't be in a position that Amazon telling you, you cannot continue. The first one will be a bit scariest. Amazon will allow multiple contribution of images from other sellers, even if you are the brand owner. So first thing, it's not a good thing. You don't want their photos. But when I'm speaking with friends like you, I'm telling them, I can see the wave of appeals coming towards me, because and don't be scared, guys. They have not revealed it. Don't share them this episode. The hijackers will not know about it. But let's assume that if somebody wants to hijack your product, they can download your product photo, implement text within the photo, because you need to understand that photo, we see it as an image, but machine sees it as a code, and they can implement keywords within the code. This is something that can be done now, but if they will use it, you will not know that they put all the, let's call the drugs or whatever they are talking about within your photo that looks exactly the same as your photo. So now we have a new problem that we will be facing. If I need to give you a good advice, instead of worrying about it, create something, and it's always a good thing. Create product file. Every product should have a folder on your laptop.
Backup. Yeah.
With everything, text, images, everything that you need. If you will have that, it's fixable. Everything is fixable, but don't count on Amazon having the photos, etc., etc. So be prepared, and then it's fixable. Don't worry about it. The only problem will be for people like me that will try to understand where the problem is, but don't worry about it. Now for the good things, what are you saying? 1 or 2 good things?
Yeah, let's hear some good news. Yeah.
Okay, so go to your inventory inventory tab and look for the new beta. Most will find it, something like 70-80% of the sellers will find it now. There's a new beta and it's amazing. I remember Danny McMillan again talking about the new design of Amazon when they changed the seller central look. They said, I don't know the mother that will love this design or something like that. It was so funny. I was basically laughing. But this is something good that they have done. On Amazon, you have some kind of a level of control or contribution or whatever. So if you're making changes through the Amazon system, the Seller Central, this is, let's call it in terms of strength, it's number 2, and then you can call always Amazon help, etc., etc. But if you know there's the AI that is awful and it is 9. The new inventory look allows you to have stronger performance on Amazon, and sometimes, not in all cases, but in many cases, if the AI is doing problems to your listing, you can change it through the system itself, which is amazing. How you will know that Amazon changed your listing? I don't know. Track the changes. There are many tools. I don't know if you want me to speak about, but there are tools that allows you to track changes of your product. Most of the tools will allow you to do that. So try that. And there's the new thing. And this is something I love the most. It's still, again, a beta, but many sellers will be able to use it. If you don't have virtual bundles, create virtual bundles now, because Amazon are going to present the virtual bundles near your add to cart button. And this is amazing. It's like one of the most expensive places to advertise, and this is where you want to be. Use it. It's free. It's not costing you anything. And if you will not use it, Amazon will see that and somebody else will be using it. And that's the good thing.
Amazing, dude. So, your people and my interactions with you have just been really amazing. I'm glad we got to connect as human beings. And, if you're going to ride through good or bad times, it's good to lock arms with people that you like and trust. And you're certainly in that camp for me, Nir, and I appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us. And you've had a lot of challenges here the last 6 months, a lot going on in your personal life and navigating that in a really beautiful way. Honoring your mom, who you said, it's the 1 year anniversary of your mom passing, and just passing that on and sharing good with the world is really important, and it touches my heart and hopefully touches the folks listening's heart as well. So if somebody's having an issue, has a question, wants to just get your advice really quick, like you said, you're happy to respond for free via email. What's the best way to reach out to you and connect?
I'll give even my email, but you can share. I am not afraid of sharing my mobile. When you have problems, you're looking for a solution. So Adam will give even my WhatsApp. But feel free to connect us from the website. It's market-wise.com, and then you can send us some kind of a message or email me directly to near@market-wise.com. It's a wise with a Z. It's not with an S. And share my mobile, because when something happens, they need some help.
Cool.
Please do understand that I do offer myself something like 3-4 hours of sleeping. But beside that, feel free to send SMS or WhatsApp, and I will respond as fast as I can.
Awesome, dude. Well, I'll leave the links to your website, email, as well as WhatsApp, and the show notes, as well as the description on YouTube. You're an amazing human being, man. Thanks for opening up your world a little bit for us. Thanks for helping and fighting the good fight for sellers. I think this will probably be the first of many conversations. You're on the cusp of a lot of the technical and strategic changes that happen within Amazon and really help enable sellers. So hopefully this is the first of many conversations, man. But thanks. I'm glad we got to meet over the last couple months, and really glad to have you here on the show.
Whenever you call me, I'll be there. Trust me on that.
Love it, buddy. Love it.